It's Father's Day. If there is someone who is a daddy's girl, it is me. It is me, it is me, it is me. Through and through daddy's girl. So this Father's Day, I don't know what you're going to do for my dad, but I mean I could collect money, but anyway, that aside. I just wanted to share like one story that I remember about something that my dad used to do when we were young, and I really enjoyed it. And it has actually stayed with me because some of the answers that we're giving back then were good. Okay, maybe two things. Let me just share two things. So one of the things that my dad used to do during December when we were all together in the house, he would call us up, like would have like a family meeting, and it didn't matter how big, how small, everyone would just sit around the living room. I wanted to say the dinner table, but no, the living room. And one of the questions that he would always ask us was, who do you want to be when you grow up? Always. He would always ask us that. And everyone would just say their own thing, whatever they wanted to be. We all knew the big five, kind of, what are they called? Like the big five careers that were there. Um, I think some of us are just saying them because it really didn't. It's like, just to get away. But one of my brothers was very adamant on, I wanted to be a doctor. He's a doctor right now. Me, I didn't want to be a doctor. Like that was just, even though like it's just even a nurse, even somewhere remotely close to that. But him, he did it. That was his lifelong dream. He did it 100%. Right now, he's a doctor. My other brother, a lot of us were just staggering in between because we knew the pilot, engineer, doctor. I can't even remember the other two, but the big five careers. Then there was this, I think the first time that we ever asked this, my dad asked us, and everyone went around saying their own thing. Then it got to me, and I decided at that time, I think I was almost like the last one because my younger brother at that time hung on, yeah, but yeah, he was the last one. Me and him are like 6 years apart. And it got to me, and I was asked what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to have very many businesses. I remember my cousin, hey, guys, just burst out in laughter. My cousin just started saying, Nyanya kumi kumi, Nyanya kumi kumi. And I'm just like, dude, that's not what I want to be. In my mind, I had envisioned myself having very many different companies. And I guess what it is called right now is being an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur right now. That's what I was envisioning. But in my mind, just hearing my cousin saying Nyanya kumi kumi, from that day, I didn't say that thing again. I didn't say it again. But I've always looked for ways to actually make money outside of employment. I've never felt like I'm an employment gully. I don't know. Employment, just sitting under someone for a long time, I don't know, it just gives me but anyway. So yeah, so that's one story that I really like that one thing that my dad used to do. My dad is still alive, so yeah, shout out to him. I think I got the best dad in the world. I really love my dad. So another thing that my dad used to do that I really loved, my dad used to tell us stories. Within the same setting, within the same gathering, he would tell us stories. He would tell us stories of his past. He would tell us stories of something that happened at work. He would tell us stories like something that he felt like was very significant that really happened. He would tell us. And I remember this one time he had gone to work. My dad he used to use like a matatu because it was cheaper then. So he came back from work, and then he told us of a story of one of his colleagues who got shot. And the reason the colleague got shot was because of what he was wearing back in the day. I'm not so old, but in the early 2000s, late 1990s, like crime was something that was actually quite frowned upon, like in Kenya, like where the leaders that he had, Moi was just not playing about any of those things. And I remember apparently this guy was going to the gym. The workspace has a gym inside, and this guy was going to the gym, and apparently someone mistook him kwa matatu that he was in. Someone mistook him for a thief. And when they got to like a police place, or non vile police wamesimama kwa barabara, so when they got somewhere, near a police. The matatu called the police and told him there's someone who's inside here who is a thief. And this guys inside the matatu were told kila mtu ashuke wakiwa wameshikana mkono, and they shukad holding hands. And this guy was left alone. I think he was seated at the back, and he was shot. Like, he was shot dead by the police. Like, even the police couldn't even wait to investigate. And that's how this man's life died at an early stage in life. But this is to say that it was a sad thing, yes, but for me, when I think about it, China is just like one of those things that I'm saying, that the enemy is always looking for someone to kill. The enemy is always looking for a destiny to steal. The enemy is always looking. That's why you cannot play with prayer. Even when you think about the entire situation with Utumishi girls, like, it's like the enemy is always looking for someone to snatch, like, to kill their life at an early stage. Like, Iotuni shit. Like, it's just the hand of the enemy. And it's so sad, like, literally so sad. But anyway, yeah, so my dad would sit us down and tell us stories. My dad was the first one to even tell us about the 1982 coup that happened in Kenya. And he was telling us, me, I was a young boy, I used to study in UN, and whatever happened, so he told us you had to walk around with your ID, otherwise ungeuliwa. There was Moi was not playing, but he told us, like, he took us back to stories of things that happened before him, tell us about his history. He would always tell us stories, and they've always stuck with me. And I think that's a good memory that I would go with. Yeah, that's something that I'll go with. Even with my children, like, tell them stories, no matter how young they are, they will remember. They will take away the action point from the story. Irregardless, stories are a good way to actually speak to your children. Yeah, so remember that. And the final thing, I know I said two things, but the final thing that I loved that my dad used to do, or we used to do, my dad has ever made us, like, he used to roast meat. Right now he doesn't do it as much, but he's taught the men how to, like, chinja mbuzi and all that. But he around Christmas, because at his workplace, again, I used to go to his workplace. At his workplace, around Christmas, they would do decorations for Christmas and all that, balloons and all that and all that and all that at his workplace. So at home, he would mimic the same. So around Christmas, my dad, when we were young, I remember it stopped at a point, but when we were young, my dad would come with balloons and ribbons and all those mushaino things, and then we would decorate the entire house. And we even had, like, a Christmas tree. We decorate the entire house, and it would just be like, he would just watch us play with all these things. So around Christmas, me and you, we are decorating everything in the house, and it didn't matter how bad it looked, would put up balloons. No matter how bad it would look, would put out ribbons. Some of them were just hanging like snakes on it. But I think it excited him to see that he was giving us a childhood that he didn't have. So it was just fun to see, and it was just amazing to actually to be part of. I will do that for my children as well. I enjoyed that element of my dad. And my dad, I could go on and on about my dad, but I just want to say happy Father's Day to him. I'm so glad that I have him as a father. And it's just a delight. It's a delight. And I'm so grateful to God to even give me him as a father. And also my brothers. Like, I have a sister and, like, a number of brothers, but yeah. Them, I do have amazing family, to be honest. I do have amazing family. So yeah, so this is my Father's Day tribute. Is it a tribute? I don't think so. But yeah, celebrating my dad. Yay! Happy Father's Day!